What's up, guys? Real quick, before I say anything, look at this.
Look.
51. 51 subscribers. 51. Thank you. And look, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you. Okay. Now, I came across a channel called Wansee Entertainment. These guys have been around for a few years now, and if you guys have never heard of Wansee Entertainment, they are a group of people that take real life, true story. They take real life, true horror stories. Why am I talking like this? They take real life stories that actually happen to people and they animate them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch some animated horror stories. Before we get started, I'm actually really hungry. I forgot to pack a lunch today. So I'm just going to grab a bowl of cereal and then we're going to get the show on the road. Fruit Loops. Alright. Now, I just want to apologize. If I'm eating the cereal and it's really loud, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be doing this. But then I thought maybe some of you guys might enjoy some ASMR. But, okay, this first video we're about to watch is called We Found Out That Someone Was Living in Our Bathroom. In the bathroom.
This happened to me a couple of years ago. My family and I moved to a new house. It was quite old, and it had been sitting empty for at least 15 years before my family decided to buy it. At first, I was just happy that we had a new house, but after that, I had some weird experiences. My room was right across the bathroom, and at night, I would hear strange noises coming from it. Actually, if you listened more carefully, it sounded like it was coming from the walls. But when I finally got enough courage to walk towards it, the noises always stopped. Not much later, I got used to the sound and eventually stopped being scared of it. But that wasn't a problem compared to other things. My stuff started to go missing, like my clothes, underwear, and even one of my pillows. Sometimes I yelled at my little sister, since she often came into my room. I thought that she probably stole my stuff, but whenever I got mad at her, she said, "Why would I take your underwear? I'm not a thief." Eventually, I couldn't find my stuff. Even worse, our food also went missing, little by little. My family and I felt uneasy. One night, I was laying in my bed about to go to sleep. And as I rolled over, I saw a figure in front of my door.
Oh,
that
no!
sent chills down my spine, so I rubbed my eyes and it was totally
chills down my spine
gone.
too.
I thought it was just my
Hold up. Because I'm already starting to get on edge. I got goosebumps already. Look at my hair standing up. One thing that we should keep in mind while we're watching these is that they are supposed to be true life stories. So this could happen to any one of us. So we need to be taking notes.
imagination, but after that, I started receiving little notes on my bedside table when I woke up. Pretty, I see you. And other weird things were written on it. However, I figured that my sister was trying to scare me, so I just ignored it.
Say something.
And that day became the most terrible memory of my entire life. One day, my dad and I were fixing up the bathroom. Because the entire house was pretty old, we were repairing the inside of the bathroom first. As we were tearing the tiles of the wall, Dad took the huge mirror off, and at that instant, I screamed. There was a little room behind the mirror, and there I found my stuff and even my underwear, along with empty food wrappers.
Sicko.
We couldn't believe what we just saw. and Mom immediately called the police. They arrived pretty fast, and when they inspected that tiny room, they found out that there was a man who had been living in it for at least a couple of months. But he was not there, so the police promised that they would search for him outside. After that, we demolished the room, and since I turned 18 years old, I moved to my college nearby and got my own apartment. Sometimes I go back to my hometown to visit my parents, but never spend the night. I know that the man was still never caught, and I'm always paranoid, wondering if he's still hiding somewhere in our house.
In the bathroom? Alright, this next video is called A Creepy Guy Who Stalked Me. Let's see what this video is talking about.
When I was 17 years old, I went to my friend's birthday party. Lots of teenagers were drinking illegally. However, I was never into that kind of stuff, so I just sat with other friends and we just talked. Then, one guy I had never met before joined the party and started talking to another group of people. Soon he turned to me and introduced himself as John. He was quite tall and had remarkably blue eyes. He seemed like a pretty nice guy at first, but he gradually started to act weird. He kept following me and seemed to have a strong obsession with me. One of my friends, Callum, saw my discomfort, so he said, "Quit it, man. Don't be a creep."
Yep, there you go,
John
Callum.
looked back at
That's a good dude.
Callum, and the look in his eyes made my skin crawl. "Why? She's mine." What he said was kind of creepy, so I called my dad to come and get me.
Yeah.
Callum stayed with me while I was waiting for my dad at the front of the house.
There you go, Callum.
He's
Callum's
watching
a good
us.
dude.
Callum
You need friends like
told
Callum in
me,
your
and my
life.
body went stiff. "Here, hold my hand. If he thinks we're together, he might give up." So I held his hand, and then
Callum,
a
I'm
loud
rooting
shout of
for this
anger
dude.
came from behind us. We both looked, and John was headed straight towards us. I was getting really worried. He looked like he was going to hit Callum. But just then my dad arrived, so I grabbed Callum's hand and we ran to the car. As soon as we both jumped in, I explained everything to him. When we dropped him off at his house and returned home, I was leaning
Callum
over my
might
bed
die.
and about to go to sleep, and then I heard the front gate open. When I looked out the window, to my horror, John was sneaking into our yard. Dad got mad when I told him this, so he grabbed his baseball bat and went straight outside. But when he came back after a while, he was frowning. "He said you left your jacket." When I got my jacket, a small piece of paper fell out of my pocket. Dad picked it up and opened it. "You're mine, Michelle." A few
What a
weeks
freaking
passed.
weirdo.
That experience had made me and Callum really close, so we started dating.
Yep.
One day, while we were watching a movie at the theater, I really
Told
had to
you,
go to the
Callum.
toilet.
He's a good dude.
I rushed to the bathroom to avoid missing too much of the film. On my way back, at the door of the theater, John was there. He looked furious and was actually crying. Then he rushed towards me and
Crying
said,
for her.
"How could you do this to me?" I was baffled. "I haven't done anything to you." He just stood there, stared at me, so I rushed back into the theater and told Callum what was going on.
Yep.
We
Callum
left
about
the
to put them
theater
hands on him.
immediately. I was pretty nervous about what happened, but I also thought everything would be alright soon. However, I was totally wrong. A few days later, I was in my backyard working on my art project when I heard sobbing. I turned around and John was there, holding a small container of medication in his left hand.
Oh, yeah,
My
this
legs
dude's
began to
tripping.
tremble as he moved closer
Go
to
run in
me.
the house. Tell your dad.
"Why are you here?" I asked him. "I missed you, Michelle. I've been following you nearly every day.
No.
Are you with Callum just to make me jealous because it's working? But no, you are wrong." As John began smiling, my mouth went dry. I don't even know you.
Don't
so
talk to him on
please
your own. Go
leave."
get your dad. Somebody
But
run.
when I said this, he began crying again as he pulled out a knife and pointed it at me.
Oh my
I
gosh.
screamed and began running towards my back
Should've
fence.
been ran,
But
girl.
before I reached it, he caught my shirt and pulled me to the ground. He held the knife to my cheek and then yelled, "I love you, Michelle. Nobody else can have you. You're mine." I was horrified, and
Oh
tears
my
were rolling
goodness.
down my face.
Somebody please.
"Get off her!" All of a sudden, my dad, who was gardening
Yep.
outside, quickly ran towards us.
He about to
He
kill this
beat
dude.
him up with a bat, and then tied him up with a
Yep.
rope he got out of his shed. And I
Tied him
heard
up.
John mutter, "I thought you were alone." Once my dad made sure I was alright, he called the police and Callum. John began laughing like a
beat him up some
maniac
more.
and yelled out in anger when he was arrested, "I kissed her. She's mine. Mine." Later, we got a phone call from the police, and it turned out that he was high on drugs, and his room was full of pictures of me, as well as a diary describing plans to kidnap and murder me. After that, John was sentenced to jail for 7 years. I'm 22 now, and Callum and I are still together.
There you go. You
We've
can
just
stay with
moved to the
Callum.
city
Callum
together
is a good
recently.
dude.
I have deleted all social media, but I'm still in fear. We are 2 years away from the date John will be released, and I know that one day in the future, John will likely come looking for me again.
That was actually pretty good. You ladies out there, I'm not a big party guy anyways, but if you guys are going to parties, to each his own. Make sure you got somebody with you, somebody that you trust and that's going to have your back. Okay, we're going to hit up one more. Now this last one is called "Don't Leave Your Keys Inside of Your House." Let's see what's up. Why shouldn't I leave my keys inside of my house?
It was Friday the 13th.
I wouldn't.
I was walking home from my friend's house. It wasn't a long walk, maybe 5 minutes. As I got to my door, I realized I didn't bring my keys when I left my house. I took my cell phone out from my pocket to check the time, and it was 7:30 p.m. My parents usually don't get back home from work until 8:45 p.m. So I decided to walk to my grandparents' house, which is only about a 10-minute walk. As I was walking down the street, I saw a shadow behind me. I turned around, but no one was there. My heart started racing, and I started to speed up. Then I saw the shadow again, following. I turned around again. Nobody was there. I was kind of scared at that time, but thankfully I was getting closer to my grandparents' house. I texted my grandma and told her to wait outside the door for me, and she replied with an okay. When I turned the corner, I could see the house and my grandma standing there. I started to feel calm again, like nothing was going to happen to me. But I was wrong. As I was about to cross the road to get to my grandma, I was suddenly pulled into an alleyway.
What the heck?
One
Is
hand
that a
covered
monster?
over my mouth and another hand was around my body. With such an abrupt attack, I couldn't get my scream out. I looked down and I could see a very dark, black hand with long, pointy black nails. Lots of cuts and scratches were all over his hands. Its face was getting closer to mine, and it smelled like dead bodies. When I looked next to me, I could see a little part of its face. It was pale white with a tint of gray. I could tell that it was not from here. It was something that we should not know. Tears were flowing down my face.
Where did Granny?
After
Did Granny
being
see
dragged
that?
through the alleyway, I was dropped onto the ground. When I moaned in pain, that creature stood over me, breathing into my face. Now I could clearly see its face. It had big black eyes, a big open smile with pointy white teeth, and a long red pointy nose.
Dang!
I closed my eyes, hoping it was just a dream. However, I felt their hand and nails were starting to dig into my neck, slowly and painfully. I struggled to breathe, but it was impossible. My vision was slowly blurring. And at that moment, someone put their hands on my shoulders Another put their head on my right shoulder and started to whisper in my ear with a strange voice. So, this is how you end up when you forget your key on Friday the 13th. Then the creature started laughing, and then everything went pitch black and silent. When I opened my eyes again, I heard a bunch of people shouting, "He's back! He's back!" I was lying in a hospital room, and all my family was standing next to me. I looked to the left of me, and there was a woman doing something next to a monitor. I asked her, "Excuse me, why am I here? What happened?"
What the heck is going on?
And she responded, "You were found in an alleyway near your grandma's house with scratches and cuts on your neck. As soon as your grandma saw you being pulled into the alley, she immediately ran after you. She found you laying there as pale as paper with your phone in your hand and blood running from your neck onto the ground.
Oh,
So she called 911, and now you're here." Looking her straight in the eye, I was immobilized with terror.
What the heck?
I
is
couldn't
going
believe
on?
what she was saying because I couldn't remember what happened to me. And then when I looked to the right of me on the bedside table, there it was. I could see my house key.
What the heck did we just watch? But alright, boys and girls, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed that. Next time we do a like animated horror story, I'm going to see if I can find some more, I don't want to say like more gruesome, but you know, something a little more like sinister. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really jump that many times. I don't think I jumped at all. I had a couple of like, you know, shivers run down my spine, but that was about it. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button if you'd like. You guys be safe, be blessed, and I will see you in the next video.